In this video I will show you how I create panoramic views of images with panoramas of cinema. I create panoramic views when I want to show with images what the space in architecture may be about or how it may look. Panoramas help me imagine and discuss the form of a space to be, as well as to tell stories around that space. I see that to work with images in architecture is not really an alien practice. Strong iconic images of buildings, paintings, movies are shown to share interest or directions within a project. These images are great because they are kind of seeds from which things start growing. But I also see that they come to a point when they stop working, when they stop helping me figuring things out. Because ideas change, they mix, and things start to take life on their own. This is where my interest lies. I want to continue telling stories that I see in strong iconic images, but with a lot. I want to move from a strong singularity to a vivid multiplicity without losing the consistency and the richness of what I say and what I show. Panoramic views are about finding and taking a position when working with the plenty, when working with millions of images. A position that I want to have when I am qualifying spaces in architecture. So I open my web browser and go to panoramasofcinema.ch/search and click on Panorama Creator. This will open a new tab and load a Jupyter notebook on Binder Online. Once the notebook is there, I click on Kernel, restart and run all cells. So this is a Jupyter notebook, and with it I will create panoramic views of categories that I have previously worked on. If you don't know how to search and categorize images with panoramas of cinema, I would suggest you to check out my previous YouTube video. So this notebook is the version 03, and it starts with the index of the categories that I and other users previously worked on. So we have categories like cave, woman, World Trade Center, Wunderkammer, yellow. I can create panoramic views of categories, of user, or of both of them. If I type, for example, red, which is a category here in the index, I get a message saying that there are 12 images of red and that there are 2 people talking about it. If I click on Create Panorama, a small panorama of 12 images will be displayed. Here it is. If I change my query and I type a username and click on search, I'll get similarly another message with a count of images that this user is working on and the categories that this user is interested in and constructing. Here we see letter, light, limestone, menu. If I add menu to this query and I click refresh, message saying that there are 76 images will appear here, and if I click on create panorama, a panorama of 12 images randomly selected from these 76 will be displayed here. Now I have a few options to create the panorama, so I can make a vertical one instead of horizontal. I can change also the size of the panorama. So instead of 4:3, if I type 5,5, then a panorama of 25 compartments will be displayed. Also, if I click on this little square here, the panorama, I can create the panorama with equal sizes. And not only the size of the panorama I can change the orientation of the panorama, but also the images that are composing the panorama. So if I click on square images, then the images of the panorama will be also cropped regularly. I have another option here. So if I click on high resolution, the panorama it will take a few seconds longer, but this is more appropriate if I want to print print this panorama out. The low resolution is good for internet purposes. The cool thing here is that I can just drag it to my desktop and have it here. Now, the maximum number of images that I can work with in order to create a panorama is 100. So I will create here a panorama of 10 by 10. I want to show you how it looks. And I'll change here the query as well. So panoramas are views of in this case, images. And they have certain qualities and abilities that are very, very fertile in this setup. Panoramas are composed of distinguishable images, images that can be located, that can be named, and all of them create a complete view of what can be seen. Now, the images, if we see in this panorama, for example, I will just drag it to my desktop. The images that are composed in this panorama are not randomly located. They're not randomly located. They follow a topology. And the interesting thing is that this topology is learned by the images themselves. In this case, by the RGB values and the outlines of the images. This is why we see that the bright images are on one side of the panorama and the dark ones on the other, and the rest are kind of placed as an in-between. Also, we can see that images with similar outlines are also close to each other with vertical elements and with the circular elements and so on. So one of the abilities of this panorama is that is open, is accommodating for new images. So if I am here to remove a few of them, then the whole panorama will be recalculated, and they will all take place in a new. They will all form a new topology. So these abilities accommodate boundaries, of course, but boundaries that are not fixed, boundaries that are fluid. So this is a vivid and welcoming. These are vivid and welcoming views. I have here another option that says dreams. And to show you this, I will just change the query again. I will add lavatorium here, and I will make it a bit smaller. Click on create panorama. And what's different here is that the elements composing the panoramas are not sharp images as we just saw. These are dreamy, noisy ones. They are really not noise, because each image is put together by those in the same category. So this is not random, this is not noise. And they are not really harmonious because there are no ratios here. They are not rational. But nevertheless, I see that these images have certain temperaments. They are like ghosts, they are like apparitions. And of course, we cannot grasp them as we grasp a sharp image, but nevertheless, they have something to say, they have certain temperaments, and they can still talk about qualities in space. I really love these images. I like them very much. Okay. I think these images, these panoramas, in principle, are a very good ground to show, to discuss, and to take decisions. So in principle, these panoramas are kind of dead, and they come to life when I start articulating, when I start discussing, when I start making arguments towards certain questions, in this case of space to be. If you want to see how these panoramas come to life, how they get animated, I would suggest you to go to meteora.ch. This is the website of Studio Meteora here at ETH Departments of Architecture. And each one of these is one project. You can click on it, and then they will take you to a Tumblr blog where you can see the work on each project. It's always changing. What is very interesting here is that all these projects are working with the same VIDéOTHèQUE, and all of them are addressing the same brief. Yet the panoramas take a very strong character. Each project then takes a position regarding a specific brief while working with millions of images. Okay, this is it. This is what I wanted to show you today, how I create panoramic views of images with panoramas of cinema. See you next time.